Hi, I have no voice, so there will be no weekly book steep today because I don't think I can actually get through a whole video, but I am going to have the vlog that I was supposed to post last week. So there is a video and it is a wrap up of sorts. It's just not a weekly book steep, and I will hopefully have my voice back next week and we'll do a 2-week wrap up. Life just keeps on lifing. I have wet hair that I haven't brushed. Must be time for a vlog. I don't know if, when this video will ever see the light of day. It is currently the 19th of May. I am in the middle of my I am not filming extra content stage of my year, and I do want to try and get into reading some of my older ebook titles. So I'm going back to my tri-chapter spinner wheel, which if you saw my first video at the start of the year, I'm trying to read down all of the tri-chapter books that I started in previous years and said I wanted to give them another shot. And in each video, I have 2 goalposts. I can either read 5 of them, and that includes DNFs, or I can read until I get a 5-star, whichever one comes first. So 5 books or a 5-star read. So I've got the spinner wheel out. We'll see what it spins, and you know, if I read it tonight or if I just put off reading it, because life, right? Not that you can see because the brightness is way up. What is that? The Bubbles Anthology. I shall report back when I have read something. I finished reading the Bubbles Anthology. So this was a collection put out by Romance Writers of Australia, I think. And it is a collection of short stories that are romances. They're closed doors. The most you're going to get in any of these is kissing. And they're all related to the prompt of bubbles. So all of the stories have bubbles. Not all of them have it in the title, but it's all a central theme in the book. So there's 15 stories, all Australian authors, all, you know, kind of coming in under 20 pages or less. And from the 15 to 6 kind of stood out to me. There are a couple that I started reading and just lost interest in, and some that I read through and were fine, and then 6 that I quite enjoyed. So going in order from the start, there was The Bubble Prophecy by Fiona something. I'll leave it on the screen. This was the one that I read for the tri-chapter, and it was about a woman who is in Japan and has got a fortune from a temple, and it said something about meeting her true love and bubbles. Anyway, she's hiking, she's coming back, she's on the train traveling to her next destination. She happens to meet an Australian guy on the train who is from the same local area that she is in Sydney, and they have a great time talking while on the train, and then they part ways, and it's about them reconnecting after that. So like a meet cute. And then there was Birthday Bubbles by Annika someone. This is my handwriting. There's no way I'm going to be able to remember most of these names. Annika, I will figure it out and I will put it on the screen. This is a high school couple reuniting in their 70s while one of them is celebrating their birthdays, and it was just sweet. There was Team Bonding by Holly Cardamone, and this one was a workplace romance where people had been paired off to compete in this mud obstacle course challenge thing, and it was cute. There was The 14th Visit by Bridget. No, don't know what that says. Anyway, The 14th Visit. This one was the only non-contemporary story, I believe, in the collection, and it is about a soldier who keeps visiting the healer because he is in love with her. And this is the 14th visit, and he finally confesses to her that the reason that he keeps coming is because he's in love with her, while meanwhile she thinks that he is just trying to get out of guard duty. Fragile by Fiona M. Marsden was also a really gorgeous one. A little bit inconsistent on the storyline of the male character who has been away. He and his wife are separated. She has been raising their daughter while he has been overseas. We know his job is very dangerous. He's either part of the military or part of a negotiation team or something like that. He's been in a really hostile place and they haven't seen him for a while. It's her daughter's birthday. He is back and he asks if he can come and visit, and she's not one to turn down him coming to see their daughter because their daughter loves him. And she's ready to let him go and to, you know, set him free because what he wanted out of life before he left a year ago was not compatible with raising a child, but he's come back with some perspective and would like to start dating her again. So I thought that was kind of cute in terms of a marriage in trouble kind of situation. But again, just to set up, like, there's no real resolution. And then Teas and Bubbles by Cynthia Tamori, which is about a bubble tea store owner who is being wooed by the ex-paramedic who has just opened up a cafe across from her. And was kind of adorable. So yes, definitely nowhere near the 5-star range for the collection overall because there were just too many stories that were average for me, but enough in there to keep me reading. Yeah, maybe we'll do, where's my iPad gone? Found my iPad. So I'm not going to read any more tonight, but let's just do the next spin so that I know what is coming next in this video. No difference. Cap by Elise Faber. Okay, we've not had good luck with Elise Faber recently, but we will give Cap a go. Alrighty, so I read a couple more chapters of Cap by Elise Faber, which is a hockey romance set in the Gold series, but I don't know how far it is into the series, and I don't care. I don't care. Mostly, like, there's just a couple of word choices that I'm like, that was a choice. That was a choice. Like, they're not bad words, but, you know, 2-3 chapters into a book. Yeah. Yep. Just not where I am. Could just also be my mental state, so who cares? Alrighty, time to spin again. So that counts as 1, so now we are 2 books in. Definitely no 5 stars yet. Between Ghosts. Okay, we'll see how we go. Okay, so Between Ghosts by Garrett Leigh is a queer MM story. It is set in an active war zone in the early 2000s, and we are following 2 British main characters. So we have Connor, who is a journalist whose older brother was killed a number of years earlier, and he never really found out how or why his brother died. And now he has trained and convinced the paper that he works for to help embed him in an active unit. And he ends up embedded with an SAS unit headed by Nat, who has a connection to Connor, we shall say. It's fairly obvious from the start how that connection falls into place. I called it very, very early on. But essentially, it is Connor learning about the men in the unit and falling for Nat, and Nat falling for him. Connor ends up being kidnapped at some point and rescued, and it's, you know, at times not an easy read. Like, it's very much all of the things you would expect about being in an active war zone. You're having external forces going into the Middle East and it being an absolute mess. The writing is good. Garrett Leigh, I've read a couple of Garrett Leigh books now. They're always really well written. Not a 5-star read, but I'm glad that I read it because it was one of the books on the tri-chapter list that I was less ambivalent about my feelings for it, because I figured it would probably be an engrossing story. But yes, not for the squeamish is what I would probably say. So that is book 3. Let us select book 4. What will it be? What is it? Wildfire. Is this also Garrett Leigh? Could be. I think this one is on my Kindle. I have a feeling this is also Garrett Leigh, so this could turn out to be the Garrett Leigh video. Yep, it's Garrett Leigh. It's part of the In Vino Veritas series. Well, that's okay. We know I like her writing, so that's not exactly a hardship. Hello, wonderful friends. I have just finished reading Wildfire by Garrett Leigh, which is the first book in the In Vino Veritas series, not to be confused with the series that I read last year, which I think followed on from this one. This was a great book. Not quite a 5-star, but close. And, you know, one that had lots of feelings. So that basically takes out a number of my friends from reading it. But anyway, it is an MM story about Kai, who is dealing with PTSD. He used to be mountain rescue, and there was a particular call out that he had prior to this book. That actually not even a call out, he just came across an accident and it basically haunts him. And he has been taken in by his friend Tanner, who is helping to open the bar Vino and Veritas, and he has been, you know, given the job of helping to build the kitchen for the new chef that's coming in. The new chef, who happens to be Joss, who is a Brit, and Joss is a really interesting character as well. He has ADHD, he is medicated, it is a big part of his storyline that his medication is a big part of his storyline. He also has nonverbal Tourette's, which is not often, you know, something that you see on page, and he is constantly managing that, and his ADHD and his nonverbal Tourette's is a very, very big present part of his life, and he talks about, you know, no longer being ashamed of it, but at times being frustrated with himself because sometimes things spiral. Anyway, Kai and Joss end up as roommates, which his friend, like Kai's friends originally think maybe he's not going to cope with it, but he actually says it's actually really helpful to have someone else in the same space as me, because he has insomnia. He finds himself wandering around in the middle of the night, and knowing that someone else is there is a comfort to him. And he is attracted to Joss. He's never been attracted to a guy before, but he's curious about him, and they become friends first, which is nice. We like a friends to lovers story, especially when it's not a long time friends to lovers story. It's obviously more natural if you become friends over a period of time and then you fall for one another. And part of the biggest conflict, like there's no third act breakup in this book. The biggest conflict is that Joss's friends, who are Kai's friends as well, also know that Joss doesn't tend to stay in one place for very long periods of time. He gets antsy and he moves, and they're worried that in whatever budding relationship they have, that when Joss leaves, that it is going to hurt Kai, particularly given that Kai is going through a lot of his own things at the moment. And the meddling of the friends is the biggest issue that they face. But if you are planning on picking it up, some content warnings for depression, for suicidal ideation, someone who is in PTSD recovery and dealing with a lot, things to be mindful of, but it was a good read. Did get teary, so that's a sign for me of a story that I enjoyed. Because if I don't care, I'm not going to get upset about anything that's happening in the book. Alrighty, that leaves us with one more book for this vlog. Again, I don't know why I did this, you can't see it. What even? Infatuated Heart. Okay, this is one of the queer sci-fi superhero books that I have been meaning to read. If you caught that I've already read Infatuated Heart by Ryder O'Malley earlier, good on you. It's taken me an hour and a half for that to click in my brain, but that's the amount of time it took me to remember to check my Kindle and then my spreadsheet to confirm that my Kindle said that I've read this. So we're going to spin again, because we need to, because I've already read that book. I'm not rereading it. And again, you can't see this. Is this still on my list? I may have already just decided not to keep reading this. No, it's still on there. So Spanked by Leighton Greene, maybe? Leighton someone. I thought I'd taken it off this list, so we might be ending on a DNF. Stay tuned. And I'm back to say that I DNF'd Spanked by Leighton Greene because I didn't care for it. I can't really tell you that much more about it. I'm not reading it. So that's my 5th book for this vlog. My 2nd DNF, 3 books read, 2 DNFs, 5 books off the TBR. As always, a very successful endeavour. And yeah, I will probably try and do another one of these sooner rather than later, because getting things off the TBR is a really, really positive experience in my book. Like, it's just, there's nothing more uplifting than going, I don't need to read these books anymore, and they're not sitting there. Yes, Chaos Gremlin vibes. Just wanting to get through things and keep things moving and make some progress on the goals that I set myself. We are done with this vlog. Thank you for joining me. I know this was both chaotic and unexpected and not at all what I had planned, but as I said, successful. And also, you know, this was an unexpected author vlog, supposedly, because apparently that's how we roll here with random book choices. So in the comments, I'd love to know, have you read any of these books? Are you planning on picking any of them up? Feel free to let me know. Otherwise, feel free to share something that is staring at you from your TBR that you really just want to get to, but for whatever reason you haven't got to it yet. No judgment here. Seriously, no judgment. Thanks for joining this vlog. I hope that wherever you are staying safe and healthy. I hope you're not feeling as all over the place as me, but I hope that you are doing very, very well. And I will see you in my next video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, everyone.